Here in the US, things are crazy. Literally, I hear people talk about not wanting to be in lockdown anymore. I hear people talking about not wanting to be told what to do by being told they have to wear a mask in public, saying that it's infringing on their rights. You know, you see people storming state capitals with weapons, no repercussions because they're white, because racism is alive and well in the USA. And just here in New Hampshire, they're already starting to lift restrictions. I think that it will put lives at risk, and I'm not interested in putting any more lives at risk.
So, in regards to how I feel about countries that are considering lifting lockdown, mine is one of them. Personally, in my country, they claim that we're in the second wave of infection, when I know for a fact that we're not, because the curve hadn't flattened and we didn't even end the first wave. So, for them to be lifting lockdown, it would be probably more of a hazard, because then all of this would just repeat and lockdown would just get longer and longer for everybody. People do need to realize the gravity of the situation. It is a dire situation.
I am worried about the UK lifting the lockdown too early. So they've lifted some measures already, which is scary that there's going to be a second peak at some point or another, and we don't know who it's going to hit. So that's the thing that's in my mind. Who is it going to affect me personally? Is it going to affect my family?
It's honestly, to me, it's scary. People are coming back. There will definitely be a second wave. It's not going to get any better. It's scary because financially the country is kind of depending on workers.
They might be lifting lockdown, and I honestly think they shouldn't. They're talking about allowing schools to reopen, which is just about as stupid as getting pubs to reopen. I kind of feel like the government's kind of gone, we're easing lockdown because the NHS can cope with the amount of people dying, prioritising the economy over people's lives, essentially, because they're not putting things in place for like protection, and essentially they're lifting the ban because there's enough hospital beds now, not because we've got rid of the virus or there's less risk.
In the UK, they're beginning to kind of lift lockdown. There's talk about schools going back. My dad is a college lecturer and he's been asked to go back to work. Every day that 300 to 500 people continue to die, could we have saved those people by not lifting lockdown, by not lifting any of the restrictions? Yeah, it's all well and fine until it's not your family, until it's not your friends, until it doesn't impact your life. And I think people forget that. Those 300 people that died yesterday, they are somebody's parents, kids, friends, and just because you don't know them doesn't make their death any less important.
I'm staying inside because nothing has changed. I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. They're going off of like what the government says we should be doing. The logic of this disease is still just out there, and it's going to be out there way more the more people go out. So the risk is way higher than it ever was. The only reason things are opening back up is because we're not so worried now about the hospitals being overwhelmed. But the threat for individuals is still, it's worse now. There's still no vaccine and more people have got it than ever. I'm looking forward to when I can go do some stuff, but you're not gonna catch me at the mall, at fucking Olive Garden anytime soon. So many people, especially in our culture in the United States, are gonna just pretend it never happened when it's over. I don't think it's gonna change the culture. Americans just wanna go back to the way things were. They just wanna pretend this never happened, and they're gonna pretend this never happened.
I don't think that there's been enough fuss in the media about the number of people that have passed away because of this. The fact that, you know, the UK has literally the worst death toll per capita in the world really should be the main headline, and it's just not, and people just seem to don't care that much. I think, you know, the reality is they're putting the economy before the population, and that's the perils of a Tory government, because that's what they'll always do. You know, you are just a number to them. You are nothing more.
In terms of the UK, I think it's stupid. I understand people are getting tired and bored, you know, want things to go back to normal, but just because we're bored of lockdown and the sun has come out, it doesn't mean the virus has gone away, and it doesn't mean we're safe. The level of ignorance we have here is insane. I'm blaming the government for that in terms of them kind of making it look like the worst of it is over, and the constant mixed signals of wear a mask out, don't wear a mask out. And I think this concept of like idolizing people for for just doing their jobs is disgusting, because essentially what we're doing is we're making it acceptable for them to die. The care workers and the health workers and the key workers are massively important, and they are being heroes, but that doesn't mean it should be okay for them to die doing it.
I don't know what's going to come from lockdown. I know my dissertation for next year has come from lockdown, so I guess that's a positive. Creatively, it's allowed me to explore different things. I think people are going to use communication more online, which is good. Like, there's groups that I'm part of that are doing stuff online, and I think that might continue. We've all kind of realised that we do need to give ourselves a break sometimes, because I think those first 2 weeks I came straight from doing a show to doing nothing, and I needed to do nothing for a bit. And it also gave me time to think, gave me time to process. As soon as there's the pub open and it's safe to do so, and I think it's safe to do so as well, I want to go to the pub, have a drink with people. I want to just see people. I want to go to a theatre and just experience like people more. Cherish the moments I spend with people, because it could all be stripped away from us again.
I want to go outside and I want to be able to go shopping. I want to not have to order clothes online. I mean, I just want to be able to go sit in a coffee shop. If I'm being honest, that was one of my favorite things to do. I'm excited for all this to be over. Obviously, I think everyone is. I don't think we'll ever be the same. I think that it's going to be a huge change in everything. I think it's going to have a big shift on those jobs that you can do from home. That it's yeah, you could come to an office, or you could just do it all from home. I think this has taught us a lot. I think it's been a great growing opportunity for a lot of us, and it's going to be great. We're going to do great.
I think that this has helped people reprioritize some things in their lives, which is great. I hope that anyone who has had the opportunity during this pandemic to re-engage with a hobby, or just find more time for rest and relaxation because they were burnt out, I hope that it continues, because you shouldn't only reap the benefits of those things because everything else is going to shit. And I hope that anyone who's experienced a heightened sense of empathy during this quarantine holds on to that tight, because I think empathy is honestly the most important thing for survival of a species, I guess, but of a community, of a culture. I hope the people who have embraced it continue to embrace it, and that there's more empathy to go around. Know that there's anything I intend to do after the lockdown ends that I'm not already doing, other than seeing friends, obviously, friends and family. I guess maybe when this is all over, I hope to exercise more, because I'm definitely not enough exercise. If there's anything that I'm hoping to do post-lockdown, it's get in better shape.
Another positive, I guess, is kind of getting to know my friends more, because now kind of everyone has time to just do whatever they want, and I have been spending it by talking to my friends, reaching out to my family. I've actually reached out to my grandma, and she's been so great, and it was so nice to just talk to her, as before I didn't really have time to do that. So I want to see my family more, and I also want to just spend more time with people that actually really matter to me. And there's a lot of those people. I want to do things that I have never done before. I want to do my own show, I want to do charity works, I want to do a lot of things that I know I have passion in me. There's a lot of hopes for when this is over. There's a lot of things I want to do, and there are many things I will not take for granted.
I think the long-lasting positive effects of lockdown will be that I can appreciate people more, I think. The people that I'm friends with or close to, or my family, I can be like, I thank you for kind of talking to me, I guess. Positive effects is just remembering those who appreciate you and that you appreciate them. My hopes for the future are that simply I get a job. I still have a job. Secondly, that Rosie and I get to move and progress our lives together. Yeah, I'm excited for the future with Rosie, because I can't envision my future with anybody else or on my own. But yeah, I really hope that post-lockdown, Rosie and I are still good, we get married, we have a puppa, and we're just happy. That's kind of all I can hope for both of us, is just to be happy.
My hopes and dreams for the future, though this may sound selfish, but I really am hoping for Pride. Pride parades, Pride Month. I just want to feel the experience. But deeper than that, what I want, I guess, from Pride is the sense of family, of togetherness. I want to feel the largeness of such a deep, connected, safe space, because I know how important that is, and I know that so many people need it. I want something like that for everybody.
My main hope is that I am able to go to Poland in September because I have top surgery booked, and that's the one thing that I've been holding on to as something that I will still be able to accomplish. The reality is I want to be able to move forward, and that is one way that I will be able to move forward, is to be able to have that at the time that it's been booked for and not have to reschedule it like everything else. I can deal with not having Pride. I can deal with not being able to go and sort of see friends whenever I want. But that one thing is sort of like the one thing that's keeping me hopeful.
I've actually come to appreciate the lockdown, and that's not in any way me saying that I'm glad this happened. Obviously, it's terrible, but I do appreciate having this time to be down. My mental health, I think, has actually gotten a lot better since it started, which is crazy. But not having to worry about going into work every day has changed a lot for me. Just the daily stresses of living under capitalism in its full force, I guess, is not something that I was built for, and I am learning that truly now that it's kind of shut down. Yeah, I am not going back to my job. I'm starting some online work coming up where I'm going to be working remotely teaching Chinese kids ESL. I know eventually I'm going to go back to fucking full-time work. I don't want to at all. Because my daycare I worked at opened back up, and I kind of, with all my health problems and everything, what if I don't go back? So I did it, and I'm not. I would love to see people reevaluating the need for this compulsive, constant, everybody works 40 plus hours a week at a job that they get underpaid for. I don't know, it's interesting. I just want to see more nuanced thinking about how the world works. I want to see a future where we realize that we can make accommodations for people.
I have been kind of thinking about what I want to do post-lockdown for a while. I want to get a job, I want to get a proper job in my industry that's reasonably paid. Yeah, and I want to do my career that I've spent the last 3 years working towards. Also, a little bit dramatic, but during lockdown, I have decided that I want to get married. Kind of sounds like I'm having a breakdown when I say that now, out loud. The last 10 weeks that we've spent together has really shown me, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I want to get married at some point. In the next 5 years, I'd like to be married, I think. So it's it's going to be a slow process. Yeah, I want to get married. That's what I want. And I want to start planning the rest of my life with the person I love.
The other one I'm hoping is that people are just nicer to each other and they appreciate each other more. This time alone has made me realise that I'm super lucky to have the people in my life that I do. I want to make more of an effort to outwardly express how grateful and appreciative I am to have friends and the family in my life that I do. And hopefully that will go for everyone, and everybody will just be a slightly better person, a little bit kinder, a little bit more understanding, more appreciative of what they have and who they have around them. Hopefully a little bit more love out in the world. This lockdown has made me realise that I want to get out and I want to see the world. Maybe not even the whole world, I just want to explore what's out there a little bit more. So I would really like to move out and I'll move somewhere completely new and completely different. I want to travel more, I want to go on more holidays. I want to continue saving to pay for some private therapy sessions. I want to be able to be in a place mentally where I can fulfill the dreams and live my best life.